Welcome to third grade. I am Mrs. Moranto,
I'm Miss Howard.
and Mrs. Sheets is home with her little Simon for just a couple of weeks.
All right, welcome to third grade. And we're going to start right away with talking about the rules that we have. They're in their school-wide rules. Every classroom follows the same rules. So if you've been here at Emerton for a while, you should be familiar with them, or your kiddo will be familiar with them. If you're new to Emerton, there are 5 rules that we all follow in the classroom that are the same. And you can see them. Rule 1, and we have little movements that we do with each one. Follow directions quickly, raise your hand for permission to speak, raise your hand for permission to leave your seat, make smart choices, keep learning safe and fun for everyone. And we spend some time talking about rule number 4 and 5 in the classroom. What does that mean? What does it look like? What should people do or not do? And we spend some time talking about that to make sure those rules are clear and understood by the kids. And then we have our color system. We do a color system here in the classrooms, and everyone starts a day on green. They have a fresh start every day, and green means you're doing what you need to do. If they get changed to yellow, that means they've been given a warning, and that's usually after a couple warnings, like verbal warnings or just reminders from the teacher. And then if they continue with a certain behavior, then they'll move to yellow. And then if it continues, they can go to orange. And orange, if a kiddo lands on orange, they will fill out a half sheet orange paper that says what they did, what they should have done, what are they going to try to do differently next time. It'll come home to you, you sign it, send it back to us. That way we know that we're all on the same page and aware of what's going on. And then there's red. That's a phone call home to you. And what we do is we will take the kiddo down to the office, use the phone in the office, and your child will call. We'll call, but your child will talk to you and let you know what happened, what's going on, just as an immediate notice to you. But it's not a phone call that's a conference. It's more of just letting you know what's going on. And if you wanted to talk, we could make arrangements to do it another time so that we can get back up to the classroom again. And then blue is an immediate or an office visit where they see either Mr. Greenbaum or Miss Phalangus. And sometimes, depending on what happens, it may not follow that order. It may be an automatic orange or red, depending on what the kids do. All right.
Just to give you a brief overview, in math, science, and social studies, we really focus on strategies for multiplication in third grade. We will get into fractions. We'll have subtraction with regrouping, problem solving, but it's multi-step word problems. And new this year, we really are going to be focusing on writing out the explanations of how they solved the problems, because we found that that is much more prevalent on the MCAP. So we want to make sure that the students are prepared to explain how they solved their problems. In social studies, we have civics, geography, economics, and history. In science, we study the weather and the climate. Last year, we were lucky enough to have a hurricane during weather, so that was kind of nice. Then we have balanced and unbalanced forces, life cycles of plants and animals.
And we usually do 1 unit of social studies, then we'll flip to 1 unit of science, and then go back to social studies. We don't do both of those in the same day. Writing, we use the Lucy Calkins unit of study, and it shows we follow authors and published works so that kids can use those as models so that the kids can learn what real writing looks like. We spend time working on personal narratives. Then we get into an informational unit where they write about something they're an expert in. And then we get into opinion writing. They really like that one. That's persuasive writing, where they're going to convince you maybe to get a dog or a pet, something like that. And then we get into a writing that's called Baby Lit Essays. And that is, we're building the foundation for literary essays in 4th and 5th grade. And we have a fun unit at the end of the year that's fairy tales, where we learn about fairy tales and the kids get to write their own.
And yes, capitals and periods matter. Big time. And
Yes.
correct spelling. We will expect that.
Yes.
In reading, we really, in third grade, there's a big transition from learning to read to actually reading to learn. That's what we will focus on. Again, we have the Lucy Calkins reading, our units of study, and we will have reading logs every single week for homework. This is a county requirement, actually, that the students read 15 to 20 minutes each night. We ask that they read at least some of the time the kind of text that we are reading in the class. For example, when we are reading during the mystery unit, we hope that at least a couple of nights they will read the mystery books. And when we read nonfiction, we'll ask them to read nonfiction because the bottom of the reading log will have an assignment. If we're working on summaries that week, we will expect them to do a very short summary of a chapter, not of the whole book, but maybe of the chapter. Or if we're reading nonfiction, we'll expect them to find a few facts. That's the kind of thing that we'll do to reinforce at home what we're doing in class. We're also going to be working on written responses to text. That's may have been called a BCR if you have an older student that went through school before, but we're really focusing on explaining the answers to our questions with text evidence. And again, you can see the titles of our units of study. We'll first work on building a reading life, choosing good books. Then we're focusing on reading to learn. That's informational. Mysteries, character studies. We'll do book clubs during character studies, and then research clubs.
All right, homework. We have homework Monday through Thursday, and all the homework, we'll start with reading. We do the reading log, like Ms. Moranto said, and they record what they read on the reading log each night, Monday through Thursday. And then at the bottom, there's a skill that they'll be asked to you do and complete. And that is turned in on Friday. And we do ask that you let the kids fill it in. It's really important for them to get that practice and build that independence. And then in math, we have math problems that are assigned nightly, and that's based on what we were working on that day. And it is Monday through Thursday.
The Gifted and Talented program. A lot of parents ask us about this, so we wanted to make sure that we put in a slide. We have a new Gifted and Talented teacher. Mrs. Lippincott is now at Magnolia full-time. Her name is Tara Ricoeur, and she will be working with the identified third graders. And if your child is identified, you will receive a letter, most likely the first or second week of school. And the way that these kids are identified is at least 2 points of data or assessment from the DT teacher. We don't do the assessments. Sometimes she looks at the assessments that we do, but for the most part, she has her data that she looks at to identify those students.
And then here's some helpful hints or tips for you. The kids get an agenda book and they do fill it in every morning. They fill out what their homework is. At the bottom of the page for that day, there will be a circle color that will tell you what color they ended up on for the day. And also a little note about what the next special is, what the special is for the next day. We also will put notes, have the kids write in there about upcoming events, like when we go to the library, the visits, and we ask that you sign it every night at the bottom, and that just keeps that communication going between you and us to help with that partnership. It also lets the kids know that, hey, my parents and my teacher are talking to each other too, so they both know what's going on. It's very helpful to do that. Just check that agenda book every night, please. And then each night, if you could help your kiddo make sure the computers get charged at home, that is super helpful for them to come in every day with a fully charged computer, because we do use it not all day long, but we do use it throughout the day for different subjects to access different resources. The kids can bring a water bottle, and we go outside for free play every day, all year. So the kids will be on the playground and they really need to use approved shoes to be able to get on to the blacktop and the playground equipment. And we usually just tell the kids it's shoes that you tie, it's the sneakers or tennis shoes. We go outside all year. And our daily schedule of it includes what each subject and approximate times that we are doing those subjects. And it also includes the special schedule for week A and week B. And we have that posted on the back of the take-home folder that your kiddo will be bringing home. And dismissal. Oh, I'm going to talk about dismissal. Dismissal, we have, you have a little, is it yellow notebook pads? And if you don't have one, send a note, put a note in agenda book and we'll make sure you get one. But it's a little notebook pad that says for dismissals, absences, it's very quick to fill out. You can check off whichever one you need, but the kids need to bring in a dismissal note if their dismissal is different than their regular dismissal. And we really need to see that the secretaries in the office need to have it before noon that day because it gets pretty crazy after 2 o'clock in the office. So.
Also, if they're absent, they need a note. You can use that as well, because if you do not send in a note, it will be unexcused. We walk to the field, take a walking field trip to the library. We are so lucky to be so close to Abingdon that we go every 3 weeks. So we will send home pretty early on. We haven't gotten them yet, but we will get them from the library or from the office, and they will be a permission slip that is used repeatedly. So it'll be slightly different than a normal permission slip, allowing your child to go over every 3 weeks. We return the books that we've checked out the previous 3 weeks and get new ones. And it's really great. It's such a great opportunity. So if your child does not have a library card, please get them one because they can check out books with us and return them with us. And it's great because the librarians will help our kids pick mystery books, or the mystery ones are ones that are really hard to find in there, but they helped them find research books for our animals when we were doing our animal reports, and new series for fiction. So it's really a great resource.
And the librarians are great for helping the kids steer them towards books that are at their level and that are appropriate for them too. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. All right, this year is the first year that the kids get grades. Yay! And it's a learning experience for them. They really learn about the percentage they see on their paper over the letter grade. I've noticed over the years that seems to hold more value to them, the kids, than just the letter grade. And we talk about what each percentage means. The kids will get a chart like this that they'll glue, I think in their agenda book. They'll glue in their agenda book. And this is the standard that Harford County sets. And then the little chart on the left with the star, check, plus. Sometimes we will grade papers with a star, check, plus, check, and check, minus, and you can see the value that's assigned to each of those symbols. And then we talk with the kids that a C is what is expected of third grade. If they get a B, they're doing better than the third grade expectations. And if they get an A, they are doing well above third grade expectations. And then we tell them if they have a D, that means that they probably should be asking the teacher for a little bit of help, or saying, hey, oh, I didn't get this. Can you work with me or help me out this time? And an E, it's pretty hard to get an E. They will get an E if they don't do the work, or if they do the work and not turn it in. That happens sometimes. A lot of kids will do the work, but not turn it in. And we want them to get the credit that they deserve for the work that they do. But sometimes it's working and building that habit of turning in work and turning it in on time too.
Especially that reading log on Friday.
Yes. And we'll have allow some allowances at the beginning of the year, but as we get into the year, those reading logs are due on Friday, and we won't accept them late as the year goes on.
So speaking of grades, where can you find them? Hopefully you have already set up your home access account. This is our grade book given to you so that you can see the kids' grades. So this is on the screen, if you can see, this is the HCPS home site, and it shows you where to go into the parent portal to sign up for it. But we have at least 4 uploading dates that we upload grades
It is not a live grade book. We push
Right.
the grades out to you.
to you so you can see them. As soon as we check this little box, they become live for you. And check it frequently, because we will, for example, if we have a test on or an assessment on Friday for math and we didn't get it graded, we may put it in Monday too.
Or early the next week.
Yes, or early the next week if a certain day was an upload day. But check it frequently so you can see the grades that the kids get. We do use a sliding scale for anything below a 10, sometimes a 12.
A
This
point value system.
point value system. So, for example, if we have a 4-point written response, if the student gets a 3, instead of getting a 75, they will get an 88. And it's a standard grade quick score that's standard throughout the whole county. So it is a sliding scale, but it's a little more fair.
Yes.
Yes.
And oh, I forgot what I was going to say. I was going to say something about the Home Access Center.
Don't
You'll see report cards on the Home Access Center too. They aren't printed on paper anymore, so you will go to your account to see the report cards each quarter. Oh, and I remember what it was. NHI. If you see NHI instead of a grade, that means not handed in, and the kiddo just needs to hand in the assignment so that they can get credit for the work that they did.
Yes. And then also, please confirm your email in there. And if you would like an email to go to mom and dad, please make sure that you put that in there, because we can quickly access your emails, and that's how we'll send home newsletters and things to you.
All right. Our email addresses are on the front of the take-home folders. So your kiddos are going to get a take-home folder, and we put on the front, they have their name, the school phone number, and our email address. And then on the back, it has the schedule for the day and the special schedule. And that take-home folder should come home every night and come back to school every day along with the agenda book. And that's an easy way to contact us. Sometimes it's easier just to shoot an email, and we can send in, when the kids are working, sometimes we can send an email back really quick just for that quick communication. But we're always available for a phone call, or if you need a video. Sometimes those the video conferencing is an easy way to touch base too, for like a quick 5-10 minutes too.
Yes. And then also we don't have it in the presentation, but when students are absent, we send home a missed work folder with a missed work paper for you to sign so that you can see what they've missed. So that's pretty important to make sure that they've gotten caught up on what they can get caught up on. There are some things that
they won't be able to make up just because of the nature of the lesson or what we were doing in class. They won't be able to make it up, but most of the time they could do the math, the workbook pages in math, and do some reading at home. And a lot of times we'll tell them science or social studies, they might have to copy a friend's notebook to make up for the notes.
Yes, but it's also a way for you to ask us questions too if you don't understand something about it.
Yes.
So thank you very much for watching our presentation. And of course, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us. Thank you.